Another one next Monday night at 6:30. These fellows that I'm going to introduce will be back to bring us some more information. I'm Alexis Taylor. Some of you I don't know, I'm Stewart County Commissioner for your district, so I'm your representative. And so we're excited to bring on board. This is GGM.
That's it.
All right, that's Gerald, George, and Mark.
There you go. Pretty simple. Who would ever thought of making like
Y'all are so
A
creative.
lot of phones there.
But
Took us all about 2
they're an
seconds.
advisory group. They are retired. They from the state, and they have worked in Parks and Rec and various areas. So they're going to be a great help to us. They're going to take us by the hand and lead us, and so that we hopefully can get some grants, some development, and some things in our community that will benefit all of us. I'm going to introduce them, and then they're going to take over. This is Mark Tummins. This is Gerald, last name?
Hey,
And this is George.
Brogdon.
Okay, I've talked with Mark quite a bit, so I know Mark better than these others, but I'll get y'all's last names too before this is over. So with that, I'm going to let them do what they do.
You want to just say a few words first?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm the first G, Gerald. And
That's debatable.
that's probably, that's probably. But just, she said basically what us three all retired. We're former state employees. Mark was my boss back for 20 years, and I was George's boss for 20 years, and George was nobody's boss. he didn't get that opportunity. But we're here to talk tonight about the master plan that we're going to develop for the city. We're excited about it. We've been in this business for, actually, if you put mine and George's and Mark's time together, we've about 140, 150 years of experience in Parks and Recreation over our career. So we sometimes we don't know what we're talking about, but most of the time we do. But just to get this right, we want your input. This is coming from y'all. We're going to try to lead you, but we want your input. Your input is not what your neighbor feels, but it's what you feel. So no question is a stupid question. I only ask the stupid questions. Okay, you will not answer any of those. But we'll get started and we'll get on because we want to get y'all and get started. All right.
Thank you all. George, you want to say any words before we jump
No,
in?
I'm good. Very good.
George is good.
I've met some of you people before. We had a meeting in November of 2022. Fire truck was here. It was rainy and cold outside. We had a good group that night too. It was a good meeting.
This is a good-looking group. I'm Mark. As Alexis said, we've been talking back and forth for several months now. We've met with the city council, our aldermen and mayor and aldermen, and they've asked us to come in and, as Gerald mentioned, to create a Parks and Recreation master plan. Now, Parks and Recreation, you're thinking, what parks do we have? Well, we got the one we're sort of sitting in. We got the one across the street. What else do we got? We're going to look at the city holistically, okay? So it's not just what you have here, what you have over there. It could be a variety of things because parks, recreation includes so many things. We also include tourism. We include travel bars. We look at everything. Picnicking, boating, fishing, hunting. We look at a lot of different areas outside of the traditional recreation that you may think of or may be thinking of. So nothing, as Gerald mentioned, nothing is out of the realm of possibilities. We're going to take you through a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis tonight. We call it SWOT for short. Anybody been through a SWOT analysis before? 1, 2, maybe? No? Okay, 1. Strength, we're going to look at the strengths of Cumberland City and the surrounding area. We're we're not going to include all of Stewart County, but we could include portions outside the city limits, okay? We're going to look at opportunities. We're going to look at what weaknesses are here. We have seen a lot of strengths from different communities that we've worked with. They point out strengths are pretty easy at times to point out. Weaknesses, on the other hand, a lot of people don't like always bringing up weaknesses, but we've seen everything from a lack of fast food restaurants, too many potholes in the city, not enough street, you know. We want to hear those things because dollars, when you're talking about smaller and rural communities, which we work with, we don't tend to work with the Nashvilles, the Chattanoogas, the Murfreesboros, the Knoxvilles. We focus primarily on small and medium-sized and rural communities. Okay? This is a little off the subject, but the Appalachian Regional Council, which we are a part of, most of the state, not all the state is a part of that, but they've worked with state government to identify at-risk and distressed counties and communities. Fortunately or unfortunately, Stewart County is not one of those. I say fortunately because that means your county is economically doing okay. What bothers me is they didn't take it down to the city level. They just do it by county. Because within those counties, there are cities that are economically or at risk distressed. I'm not saying Cumberland City is one of those, but I know there are other cities that we have worked with, whether it be Perry County, Crockett County, Lake County, Fayette County. I mean, there's quite a few that we've been, Houston County. There's communities within those that probably would never, would be considered economically distressed. So there's things in there that we understand that budgets are critical, especially for communities, small communities. We're here to help put together a master plan that will put you in a position to receive state funding, federal funding for parks, recreation. So it's much broader than just what you typically think of as a park. We also look at sidewalks, we look at trails, we look at greenway systems, things like that that get people moving in different areas rather than just a track around the park, although that's critical as well. So we want your input, your guidance, your thoughts, your ideas tonight. I gave you all a little piece of paper. We're going to start with strengths. Strengths are, as we mentioned, they could be a number of things. There could be strengths because of community cohesiveness. It could be, that could be also a weakness. Strengths could be, we have the opportunity because we have a wonderful river that flows through our community. But it also could be a weakness. But it also could be an opportunity because are we utilizing that resource to its fullest? I served as Parks and Recreation Director for 13, almost 14 years in the city of Clarksville. During that time, if you've been, most of you I'm sure have been to Clarksville at some point, the River Walk that was developed, the new marina, the Wilma Rudolph Event Center, all that 2 miles of River Walk, I was a part of developing the Wilma Rudolph Event Center, all the new park, and everything else, the marina, and those are all critical to quality of life. But that's not here. There's not a trail along the river. Is that something that is foreseeable that could be done? So the master plan covers 10 years, okay, for the next 10 years. So we will end up having a 2026 master plan for the city of Cumberland City, town of Cumberland City, city of Cumberland City, wouldn't it? Yeah. It would be town of Cumberland City, wouldn't it? That didn't sound right, but there are towns. City of Cumberland City from 2026 to 2036. Now, in 5 years, the state requires us to update that, provide them with an opportunity to say, okay, we've accomplished these goals, or we're working on this, or is there some additional that we want to incorporate? So 5 years, we'll do a little update, but actually your master plan is over 10 years. We put together a focus group Our focus group members are here. That's who has, some of you walked in. We appreciate them giving of their time, really helping us analyze data that comes in, because we do this community input tonight. We've got one next week. We're trying to work with our students and bring a community input meeting for students only. We want to hear from primarily our high school, maybe even some middle school students. We value their input. We're going to work with some of the seniors as well through the senior center. We'll look at tourism. We'll talk with our tourism director. So we do a lot of on-site interviews with individuals, and then we'll compile a master plan that's tailored for Cumberland City. But your input is critical. So we're going to start with strengths. Nothing's really off the table. We want to hear what the strengths of this community are. And Gerald's going to write?
I'm gonna try.
Okay, Gerald's going to try to write. My wife tells me I have the worst handwriting in the world.
And mine tells me I can't write.
Never learned to write, did he? No, so, as Gerald said, you know, we have quite a few years of experience. We did work for the state of Tennessee. We administered a lot of grants across the state. All three of us did, and we love what we do. Like you said, we're retired, but we're here to help, and that's why we are here. We appreciate Cumberland City asking us to come. So with that, I've given you a little note card. You can write down little notes and jot things down. Somebody may say something and trigger something in your mind. So at this point, what we'll end up doing is we'll list, it may take us a couple of pages for strengths. We'll put them on the wall over here. We've got sticky dots, little dots that we're going to give to you. And you can put those dots on the priorities you think are the most important. Okay? And we'll get to that in a minute, but we'll give you these dots. You go over there, you can put all those dots. You got probably 4, 5, 6 dots, depending on the color. And you go over there and you put them all in one. You think, gosh, this community, the opportunity or the strength is this. You can put them all in one, or you can split them up in between 6. You know, might be 14 things on that list, but you only have the opportunity to vote on the top 6 or what you feel like are the priorities. So anyway, with that, somebody share with me a strength of the city of Cumberland City. What's a strength? Not everybody at one time.
It's tight-knit. It's a tight-knit.
Control your enthusiasm.
It's a tight-knit.
It's tight-knit?
It's tight-knit.
Tight-knit community. Tight-knit community. That's great. What do you mean by that?
Kind of like everybody knows everybody and everybody, you know, helps each other when they need help.
Cool.
Tight-knit. Just whenever I notice if somebody puts out a need for help, that somebody's always answering that.
Okay. And I'm going to follow up with some questions because I'm learning some of this as well. So when you say, how does somebody put that out there? Is it through social media?
Social media a lot.
A lot, okay. Because there's not a local newspaper. I mean, outside of Stewart County Times? Standard, that's it, Standard, okay.
Yeah.
The social media primarily?
A lot of it is in social media. Some of it's like we were joking about the dollar store. Everybody here goes to the dollar store.
Right.
So sometimes it's, you know, you see them out and about and you tell them face to face.
Okay. Is the dollar store a strength?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You know, that may be one of the first times I've heard a dollar store being a strength. That might be it. It's a community gathering place, it sounds like.
Well, I mean, it's the only place
Yeah,
we have to go shop that's right here.
I get it. I'm from New Johnsonville. I mentioned that a minute ago. We have a dollar store. Matter of fact, some of us are, we petitioned Dollar General to put in a Dollar General market because we're either driving to Waverly or Camden to Walmart, Cash Saver, to get some veggies that you could easily pick up right there. So we'll see. It might take 5 years, but we'll see. My wife loves that stuff, so yes.
Since Dollar Store was mentioned, I'm going to mention Duke Farm.
Okay.
A local
Absolutely.
community gathering place that supports community.
Duke Farms.
Duke Farm.
Good farms?
Duke,
Yes.
Duke Farms.
Duke Farms. And they sell a lot of vegetables and
Yes.
flowers
And
and,
local crafts.
Yes.
Vendors.
right,
Duke.
Is anybody here affiliated with them at all? No?
We're all affiliated.
All affiliated. And the only reason, really good close friends of ours are Keith and Cookie Martin. They're in Clarksville. They have a similar type stand, but they get a lot of their produce and everything from the Mennonites in Kentucky.
I'm sure they do some.
They
They've
supplement.
also got greenhouses now where they're growing some of their.
That is awesome.
They do local farms around too, strawberries and stuff, and they
That's
get
great.
it up
Local
there, you
meat.
know.
Yeah, they have like hogs and they sometimes do
Wow.
like cow and stuff.
So they're doing that right here. That's incredible.
They,
Okay, good.
they seasonally will have events, and,
Like they just had a Mother's Day thing on Sunday
Yeah.
or,
And
or
they-
Saturday.
recently are serving food in a deli.
Okay,
So they're
that's
They're
awesome.
getting, they're
That's
doing
really
a
neat.
lot.
Good, good. What's another strength? Yes, sir.
TVA.
Yeah, I was wondering when somebody might mention TVA. How's it a strength?
Well, they've helped the community a lot.
Okay.
Now, I know individually, I'm working on a African-American cemetery, and it had a couple of overgrown trees that were in danger of falling, and TVA helped us with getting those down and
Wow.
trimmed off of an old schoolhouse.
Okay. Absolutely. I would see that as a strength. It provides jobs for one
Yeah.
thing, too. I'm sure quite a few people may be employed there from the community. But things like that as well, so good deal. What's another strength?
I have to say it's the people.
The people? Okay, awesome. Very similar to the tight-knit community, but the people themselves. People being very accepting. If it's a strength, I would say accepting and
I'm gonna say
supportive.
for this community, it's both.
Okay,
Because without the people being the way they are, then this community wouldn't be a tight-knit community like it is.
okay.
And I say that because I was born and raised here. And, I mean, my family personally has been through a lot of tragedies. And this community has just showed love, support. They've been there when they were needed. And you don't even have to ask. They just pull together. So it's people.
Okay. That's great. Other strengths?
I feel like our location being close to Clarksville is a strength in that there are a lot of opportunities. We're far enough out, we're rural, people like that, but yet we are close enough that you can get to a city that has mostly what you would need. And that's a plus.
Okay. Did you get that, Gerald?
And I don't know if it's helpful to think we're close to a river, have a train coming through. I don't know if that's a strength, but I'm throwing it in there.
The fishing,
Fishing, I mean,
a lot of people like to fish.
I personally would think the river would be a strength, but is it also an opportunity? Could it be utilized more? And, but I think the river is absolutely a strength. But how can we use that? And when we get the opportunity, I'll ask you that question again. So you'd be thinking on how the river can be utilized even more as an opportunity. But I agree that it is a strength. Boating, I saw when we crossed yesterday on the ferry, coming in from Indian Mound. There were several boats out there. So people are boating, maybe they're fishing in some way. But how can it be, what's the opportunities there to be even utilized more? So we'll look at that in just a few minutes. Other strengths? Yes, sir.
Well, if you don't mind me doing another one.
Absolutely,
But
no.
I wasn't born and raised here. We moved here because there are some beautiful old homes. This town used to be very well-to-do, and so people used to build some really beautiful houses here. I have a lot of striking architecture. And we moved here so that we could get one and work on it.
That's great. Excellent. Well, even the two churches up here are they're architecturally beautiful in a lot of ways, you know, for the area. So I found that architecture to be really incredible as well.
Along with that, we have a very rich history.
You do. Very rich history as a strength. Very rich history. So, sure. What other strengths are there? We exhausted all of our strengths. 149 a strength?
A lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic. But sometimes that can bring some opportunities. Maybe we'll look at that when we get to there too. Very similar to the river. Is there opportunities with 149 as well running through the community? So could be. But somebody mentioned trains. I'm not sure. Do the trains come through often? Daily, hourly? Daily?
Every day.
Yeah. Okay. I just wasn't sure how often they came through that. Sure.
It's not a passenger train, they're running gypsum from here to.
Yeah.
Lavender, I think.
Yeah.
It's not-
Coal,
Not gypsum,
gypsum.
the drywall.
You've got the towboats goes up and down the river
Yeah.
constantly also, I mean, I guess you characterize that.
Yeah, there used to be a railroad depot right over by where the ferry boat landing is.
Very cool. Okay. Any last strengths?
I would have to say the ferry itself.
The ferry,
Yeah,
okay?
because not many places have a ferry.
There you go.
I mean,
No.
ours is still not working.
It's
I mean,
fun.
when I was a kid,
Runs
that was like-
365 days a year.
Yeah, I mean, that was a cool thing when I was a kid, even though it just goes across, but it was cool for us to get in the vehicle and just have a ferry. It was just a neat little thing.
So I'm going to shift it a little bit now. We've done a lot of good stuff here with the community as a whole. Are there strengths as a part of the park properties? The properties that we have, are there strengths about these areas? This area, I'm probably in the right area, back up in here and across the street. Is there strengths or not?
They're centrally located.
That's a good strength. A lot of people don't have that opportunity. We actually did a master plan for a community. I won't mention the name of the community, but their parks weren't like that. And literally, you almost had to drive to get to the park, especially if you lived on this side of the city and there was highways running in between. So it wasn't like when we were kids, and I'm dating myself, but when I could get on my bike, and even though the park was a mile or a mile and a half away, I could be there within just 10 minutes or 12 minutes, you know, riding my bike. But now there's so much traffic, you wouldn't let your kids get on a bike, you know? So to me, centrally located park property is essential. I think that's a really good point. Very good point.
And this area over here in particular is very, very pretty with the trees and the large trees.
Yeah.
So it could really be very nice.
I imagine when we start getting into opportunities, you're going to have a lot of opportunities for that part. Maybe even there could be weaknesses associated with it as well. So any last strengths before I turn it over to Gerald? He's going to do weaknesses, or George's, one of the two.
The other side, the fact that it's fenced in,
Yeah,
so it's enclosed.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's fenced in, the other area. Okay.
We're ready to put those on the wall.
We are. Let's go ahead and put them on the wall, and then
You're not gonna want vote on them.
I'll give them green pencil for strength. We'll go green tonight. So again, you're going to have, this has got 5 dots on it, okay? You've got your 5 dots. Once they get it on the wall over there, we want you to prioritize what you believe are the top strings. You can, like I said, you can put all 5 dots on one, or you can split all your 5 dots between 5, okay? But you will easily get up, put them on there, and vote your top priorities for the strings. And you can start moving at any time. Here you go.
You using all green markers?
I am, I've got them all right here.
Okay.
Okay, you can get up and move if you'd like, and think on it, and
Just put them
put
beside
your
the
dots
wall.
on there. Yeah, just put them out to the side.
I got 10 dots.
You got 10? No, get back one down.
Oh, they're no fair.
I knew it, I figured I was getting ahead of myself. There you go.
You got a beautiful smile. I was gonna say that about that in my therapy. I ain't seen you smile yet.
I've got 2 more to get you. Pour me on. Yeah, I've got, it just.
So what I'm doing here, I'm putting down, not only what the strengths are, whatever, I'm putting in, I want you to listen to them, kind of, about the different things. Whatever you want to do, I can do it all here, whatever you want to do.
You certainly can, sweetheart. Surely not.
There you go.
Trust me, put them right.
It's harder today.
I'll go over and so identify some of the top and while these are copies, a couple copies of the master plans that we've completed. This one's for Perry County. Completed this just a couple of months ago. They turned around and they've got about Perry County is a economically distressed county, including Linden and Lovable, but they have the Buffalo River running through there, so they have a river as well. But they applied. We've helped them apply this grant round. They have about $11 million worth of park projects. It sounds like a lot. It is a lot, especially for the entire county. But their first phase 1 is about $4.3 million. So hopefully in another couple of months we'll hear some positive news on that.
And that's Linden and Lobelville,
Yeah.
the 2 towns in there, about 12 ounces of water, something like that.
About.
Yeah.
So Jared, what was our top?
Top was the park location.
I agree. That's a good one. 20.
And number 2 was the Duke Farms.
Oh, nice.
Number 3 is TDA.
Yep.
Number 4 is the river, and number 5 is the location.
Okay. Right. Location is the
Of the
community.
city.
Yeah, agreed, okay. Fantastic. Way to go, y'all. All right, let's move into weaknesses. This usually can be somewhat long. Everybody, as I mentioned, we had a lot of people tell us about the potholes in Bells. No, keep them up, keep them up. Weaknesses, Gerald, you want to take over? I'm going to do the laptop.
All right. We may have fallen asleep on it.
What is our weakness?
Roads.
Road? You say that real
The
quick?
roads.
Roads.
Okay, I'll catch up with you.
Okay. Number 2.
He's got to get me into the laptop, Gerald. Gerald, hold on.
Okay, I'm out. We can't chew chewing gum, and we can't do chewing gum and type at the same time.
Why don't you ask them why they chose roads, why they said roads?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Why'd you choose road?
My alignment keeps going bad every time I drive on them. They're bumpy.
Is that just in the city, or is that the whole county?
City, I mean county, because county's fine, the city within here.
And it's kind of patchwork.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
He had next. Yes, sir, what'd you say while ago?
Oh, revenue.
Revenue. Ooh. Why?
We just don't.
I know what. Yes, sir. Now what were you going to say?
Oh, I thought you were still on roads.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, my point was that some are patchwork.
Okay.
Some had been done at one time, and then trying to do some others, and some get real narrow in the middle of them and then open back up, and,
Some of them one line?
huh?
Some of them one line?
Yes.
Especially in this area down here.
Yes, sir. Others? Yes, sir.
Location. There you go, we got it on the screen, but it's
Location.
also a weakness.
Now, are you
too.
talking about the city's location or the
Absolutely.
location of the park?
Yeah, for, just like take schools for the kids right
Okay.
there that's running around. You know,
You're
you gotta
right.
drive all the way down there to Dover.
Employment.
On the bus.
Yeah.
That was surprising to me back 2 years ago because Houston County High School is how far from here?
Yeah, it's same when I was raising my kids, I actually sent to Houston County, but
Yeah.
they wasn't, paying out of county tuition, but at that point, couldn't even guarantee a seat in the class, as they got older, because the class got bigger.
I think this lady.
I was just gonna say schools. I think that
Okay.
prevents a lot of people, young people from coming.
Yeah.
What was you going to say?
I'm sorry, forgot.
Oh, good. Oh, have you really?
No, it was just what Eric was talking
Okay.
about, with the location is positive, but it's also a
Negative.
negative as well, not
But that's true in every place.
employment.
Hard to get here sometimes.
That's true in
Employment was
almost
what you
every
said.
place.
Yeah, what,
You said lack of employment.
yeah.
Like,
So, yeah.
you go.
You might want to explore schools a little bit, because just my understanding is, because there's no elementary school, everybody's going somewhere else. Same with high schools. Does high schools, I mean, students go to Houston County, and some go to Stewart County?
Most go to Stewart,
Most of them
most
Stewart?
go to Stewart County. I think there may be 3 or 4 students that go to
Just to Houston?
They pay like, is it $300 or something like that to go? or
500.
500? And there's also an option also for Montgomery County,
We
right?
don't take out of state county tuition. Not anymore.
Okay.
Other,
Nowhere to eat, lack of restaurants.
Okay.
so when we did this over in Houston County, the number 1 pick was they wanted a sign.
a Sonic. I
A
could
Sonic.
think of something better than that.
Well, that was their number 1 pick, because they wanted, the kids, not the kids,
Oh, the kids,
they
okay.
just wanted a sign, a place to gather and a place to talk. Yes, ma'am.
There's like no bathrooms, no like parks or basketball court or anything.
No basketball courts, no
There's no
restaurants.
bathrooms near them.
Restrooms, no restrooms.
No restaurants in the park?
Others,
There's no tennis court.
no tennis court.
No net. Nowhere to play
Oh, there is a
tennis.
tennis court and a
But there's
basketball court.
no net.
No net,
It's,
Didn't know that tennis court?
no net, no tennis court.
All right.
and pickleball seems to be the favorite now. You know, I mean, there's no pickleball either, so.
No nets, no pickleball.
Lack of recreation in general.
Yeah.
So we can just say, we consider
Unless you wanna walk.
no park.
Yeah.
You get that, George, the lack of no recreation?
Yep, I'll say it.
Make sure you put period.
Those boy walk.
Like for recreation opportunities.
Yeah. 1 minute. What about it?
You are throwing a lot at
Yes, ma'am, now you.
the lack of stuff on our main street, the downtown area.
So like in businesses, retail,
They emptied Main Street.
okay.
Good to do.
Yeah. One of them came down and moving on. Yeah, they've been calling in for, I don't know how long.
Yes, sir.
There's virtually no child's park. There's one here with old, outdated stuff. I have to take my kids to Aaron, my grandkids to Aaron.
No,
What?
no child. Outdated equipment.
And I have to say, because I walk a lot around here, it's a very walkable area, but
No sidewalk.
sidewalks.
Yeah.
No sidewalk. Walkable area with no sidewalk.
Yeah, it's very walkable.
Probably not very handicapped accessible either.
It's
Definitely
not.
How about a place for older people?
A place for
Yeah.
older people. Are you talking, what are
Like
you
a senior
talking?
center?
Like a
What is it,
center or
community center?
something like that.
A community center?
Yeah.
How far is that, the senior center from here? It's all like,
You either have to go to Dover or you have to
Gotta
go
go
here.
here.
so Dover is 30 minutes?
Here it's closer.
Yeah, we went by there, went a few minutes, but they're about to move further away.
Yeah.
They're gonna move to the,
Yeah.
But it's still closer than
Dover.
going to Dover.
Yeah.
No picnic areas.
Yeah.
That's pretty easily solved there, but.
picnic area.
Yes, ma'am, I hear you just want to say something.
I would say lack of supervision for what we do have. So up where the basketball courts are, they were brand new like a year and a half ago. There's nets missing.
Lack of supervision.
Yeah, they're lopsided. You have to play. My husband and I like
Park.
there's security down. Yeah, and
Lack of
it's just-
security.
Yeah.
You don't have a police department or a sheriff's department?
We
Sheriff?
have two cities.
Two police?
And they're not full-time.
Okay.
I mean, they can make call
I
full
just
time.
got that clear.
Yeah, I was just curious on the street, what you have. And you're about 1 square mile, or take a little bit, city,
I think we're 5.
5 square miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And along with the recreation, we don't have lighting either. Because I can remember as a child, we had tennis courts that, and we played basketball in tennis courts, but there was a light
Got
so you
that.
could play. on into the night and nothing like that.
Is that because you're surrounded by homes? Because I know some people that, you actually have homes across the street from your park, which is, that face in, which is a little bit different. Is the lighting there where it won't be a nuisance to the community, or?
It goes like so.
No, it was just
Yeah,
disconnected.
I didn't know if residents say, well, we don't want those lights out there.
Mainly just funding, I think.
Yeah,
There are street lights that aren't park lights, that are not lights in the park area.
Right.
Other,
And I would have to say, trying to figure out how to say this. Like, there's some buildings here, they can be, I think, restored, so.
renovate.
Yeah.
so it would really be nice if the weakness now, the old gym is a weakness now. So it needs to be determined,
Torn
the
down
future,
or renovated.
whatever, yes, whatever needs to happen with it.
George, the old gym is a weakness now.
All right, now who said that?
I did.
Okay, so now I know the last time some people wanted to try to say that, we had someone from an A&E firm look at that and thought that it might have some good structure, but you're thinking it'd be better to
Well,
take it
no, I'm
down.
not saying, I'm just saying it's gonna have to be determined.
Yeah,
So through a Bragg grant, I talked with, Robert, I can't think of his name, a couple of weeks ago. They will come in and, take out, do an evaluation. They will get rid of lead paint, they will get rid of asbestos. So then you've basically got a clean structure to decide, to get evaluated, to decide, can this be saved, or is this gonna have to be a takedown? But that has to be done either way.
like you're saying right now, it's not being used for anything, it's
No.
just there.
No,
Yeah.
It's a nice old.
And
yeah,
don't y'all call that the stone building or white building or something like that, or?
it's not,
Daisy
it's a.
Thomas Gym.
It's
It's old gym.
Jim,
the
old,
old
the old Thomas Gym.
old gym.
Okay,
Old
It's a
gym.
very historical building. It's probably been here.
It was built with the World War II,
CC.
that came back. What was the name of that program, Gerald? Do you know the
CCA.
CCC or WWPA?
WWTA, so
Yeah.
it was some local,
Yeah.
people that came back.
They did a lot of state parks,
Yeah.
numerous state parks.
They built that gym.
Okay. And they use a lot of stone and stuff,
Yeah.
that's something they did, yeah.
Other. Going once. Going twice. Sold to her for $27.13. My favorite color. Seriously, it takes real men to wear pink. Wait a minute, I'll come back. Oh, you did? You ready to one more? I only got about. If I've already give you one of these, you can go ahead and start voting.
Pictures like these people putting them in there, and then we'll have how many things are opportunities, and then we'll do a collaborative of the different meetings. Because sometimes, like, a different crowd may come next week, it's a little bit different. And then I guarantee you, if we go to the high school, they'll have different strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats than you have. Like Gerald said at the high school in Dover, their number one thing was a Sonic. So,
But we don't have a high school. So what high school would you?
So the number one thing we're gonna have to do is figure that one.
maybe middle school, elementary school. You have middle school?
We don't have any schools.
Yeah, we
But
probably-
I think that Mark had talked, he wanted to try to meet with those students that are in our area.
Right.
we
In
can do
Stewart
that.
County High School.
Yeah, we've been able to do that at quite a few of the schools. We did that at Obion County just recently. And,
You'd
we
be
did it
surprised
at
what
Troy.
the kids think.
So opportunities,
The kids here, because they're split between the two counties.
Right. right.
Hey, George, before you go right into opportunities, weakness is roads, pretty much the top, then you have a tie. Revenue, obviously, is critical. Schools is also 11. Restrooms, oh, that's combined, 19 restrooms might have been the most. I was looking at these two, okay. Excuse me, 19's number one. Restrooms, roads, revenue, schools, location, and then tennis courts and nets, those type of things, so coming on down. Great information, incredible. Thank you all.
We, in fact, it's interesting you said about the restrooms in the Troy plan. Any restroom before, they said now we have a nice clean restroom, and they were very appreciative of that. Okay, opportunities. We mentioned some weaknesses that could be also opportunities. What opportunities do you see? What would you like to see in the next 10 years here in Cumberland City in Parks and Recreation? Yes, ma'am.
I think a community garden would be great.
Community garden, very popular. That's what I call low-hanging fruit. It's not very expensive to do. A lot of times you can just do it. City buy a little bit of, timber and things like that, and you can get sweat equity groups and people come out, and very, very popular. We've seen very, simple ones, and hey, Georgetown's got a very complex one. So
Even though the playground equipment is old and worn out, it's used a lot. And so playground equipment, a nice playground.
and it's used.
And it's used, and
Yeah.
the walking trail.
Right.
The walking trail is used.
Right. Had a question right here?
Oh,
On that question, comment. Yeah.
well, Grice's Creek, it's good for boating because it has a good parking area and a boat ramp, but there's no kind of a paved trail through there.
Yeah, and which creek is that now?
Grice's Creek?
Grice's Creek, yeah.
It's on
The creek park, I'm trying to think of the name of it, Lick Creek?
No, that's in Dover.
Right, they're adding a
Yes.
splash pad and a restroom down by the boat ramp and a couple of other things. in
They've
there.
added some fishing docks and stuff.
Yeah,
Ours is owned by the
right, there's this too, but
Yeah.
you can get
a
agreement,
lease, an
yes.
agreement, yes.
And you can get a grant, if you have at least a 30-year lease,
Yes,
you can get a grant for that.
and I think that's what's happening at Lick Creek.
It is, I had to go back through a lot of red tape, but they can get it just takes time. Yeah, okay. Other opportunities you'd like to see?
Pickleball court.
Pickleball, fastest growing sport in America, has been for about 5 or 6 years now. And there's actually, you know how malls are dying now? In Collierville, they've taken some of the big stores and made pickleball courts into stores. You buy a membership like you would to a fitness place, and you go there and you play pickleball. Yes, ma'am? Restrooms. Okay. Other opportunities.
Could I say something about the restrooms?
Yes, ma'am?
Restrooms are hard to maintain. You have to have the staff to monitor, you have to make sure they're secure, you have to have them clean. And the neighbor in Erin, as well as in Dover, there's been a lot of problems with vandalism. They're hard to maintain. I'm just going to put that out there. I know it's nice to have that, but when you have 2 police officers, 2 utility workers, maintenance workers, the staff, it's very limited staff. And so these things you have to consider.
Yeah, Gerald could tell you, years ago, back in the 80s, 90s in Germantown, we'd have the porcelain fixtures and the kids would come and crack them. So we started putting stainless steel fixtures in, kind of cold, but a little harder to break, but they were very expensive. And we even had to start a park ranger program, and it was just for the vandalism. It wasn't like, people being assaulted or anything in the parks, but it's been there 30 years now because it was just an issue. So yes, they're making them better and better. I don't know if the prefabs are more vandal resistant. Yeah. But they're also very expensive.
Yes.
The biggest issue is taken care of. The biggest issue is taken care of.
Right. Other opportunities.
Split it up and I,
Yes, ma'am. Back there?
Like a community center.
Okay, community center.
Right now,
He mentioned
this
something
is
about too.
used as the community center.
Yeah, and were you next? I'm sorry.
Revenue.
Revenue.
what do you mean by that?
Well, opportunity to get more revenue. Oakland, Tennessee, took the half-cent sales tax option. I don't know if y'all have done it in the county or done it in the cities. Are you 9 3/4 now? Or still 9 1/4?
We're still 9 1/4, I think.
Right, so the town of Oakland took the half-cent sales tax and put it all back toward parks. Accumulated by 4 or 5 years. Gerald was still director. Then they had $2.5 million in there. Went to the state. It was during COVID. They were trying to get the money out. They got a $2.5 million grant. They got a $5 million project and started an athletic complex with that half-cent sales tax option.
Wow.
So, you know, there's ways you can, different ways you can do to try to identify dollars.
In
And
our
there-
area, the property tax in Cumberland City is significantly lower than Erin, Tennessee Ridge, Dover,
Right.
anywhere else.
Right. It's a delicate balance, but the parks do cost money, as Gerald just said a little bit ago. But after you build the park, maintaining the park, you know, you gotta, because the state comes by, like 2 or 3 years from now, or next year, whenever you apply for a grant, they're gonna look at how you're maintaining your parks. And if they come and things are in disarray and grass is high and all that kind of thing, it's gonna be, you know, they're all scored, so you're not gonna get a lot of points, you know, for maintenance. They look at that thing, at those kinds of things. Yeah.
Basically, it falls into other categories. There's an opportunity set right up there across from riding sign for jobs to come in. It's been sitting there empty for what?
11 years.
That building?
11 years.
So the one we passed.
That's the one we passed, while ago. Now, how long? and what-
Was that the Japanese company?
Yes,
Beautiful building.
South Korea.
South Korea, I'm sorry.
The Japanese don't want you to associate
Yeah.
them with that. I'm
Or
sure.
probably vice versa either.
Yeah.
Is that in this county or is it on?
All of the park is Stewart and Houston, but all of the Stewart County part of the park is actually city limits of Cumberland City.
So that would make a beautiful community center. I mean, what?
Well,
We talked about that.
the South Koreans own it now.
What, and
The South Koreans own that
are
building.
they interested in selling or
Do
whatever?
they still pay taxes on that building?
They do.
They do.
Well,
They
I
got-
think when we're thinking about opportunities, that's what we need, not just hopes.
Yeah.
We got a lot of hopes here and opportunities. The
Right.
opportunity is we've got an empty building sitting over there. The opportunity is we've got a lot of land sitting here now without a building on it. That's the opportunity.
Right.
The hopes come later, I think. It's kind of
Yeah.
designing what
Well, at this
what are you
point,
gonna do with those opportunities.
at this point, you know, every idea is a good idea at this point, because we're trying to get all that, and then we'll come with some recommendations at the end, weighing all the economics and those types of things, because it's a reality. I mean, I've worked in cities that, you know, you might feel like you don't have a lot of, going to cities that, you know, they don't have a fire station, you know, so,
Yeah.
anyway.
So as far as revenue and opportunities inside the park, the businesses that are out there, Georgia Pacific, Eric knows all of them, also TVA, those could be better contributors
Right.
than what they are actually being right now.
Right. And we'll come up with some funding mechanisms for you too. And we encourage sponsorships, naming rights, all those kinds of things. You know, a lot of people say, well, we'd hate to put, you know, the Frito Park. And I said, well, why would you if they give you several $100,000? You know, I mean, you know, it's, we do it in other ways. So, yeah, we'll try to, in our funding part of the master plan, try to come up with some ideas and things that are maybe possible.
I used to work at the post office, and I actually had an incident where I remember a man from Kiewit came in the office asking the clerk if they knew of any opportunities that they could contribute to the community.
Right.
So
Right.
there's companies out there that are willing.
You guys don't have a park board yet, do you?
A park board?
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah, we put one together in Moscow. One of our subcommittees is development and revenue. You know, we actually have a 501c3 development person on our park board, and she's helping us a lot in how to do that because we have no money, but we're, you know, we're encouraged though, and we think there's dollars out there.
Right.
Yeah.
A
All
lot
right.
of those companies over there, they'll donate and contribute, but a lot of them, they're not asked.
Or not what?
They're not asked.
Okay, yeah, right. So the opportunity, there's dollars out there, Mark, we just have to ask for them.
That's right.
The old gym could be an opportunity depending on inspections and
Right.
things like that. That would draw a lot of people back to the community that are associated with the old gym.
The old gym.
The WP Donuts.
We already have that up there, don't we?
We do.
Well, that was but it's also an opportunity too.
Opportunity, yeah.
We've got
Oh, absolutely.
We had it over here in weaknesses, Mark.
I want to make sure we put down old gym. That's
Yeah.
absolutely an opportunity.
Okay, others?
I think this right here is an opportunity. I mean, you know, I'll be honest, when you said you're gonna get folks from the city to come and give their input, I thought, well, we might be the only ones sitting around the table tonight. It is great to see some younger folks here, to see some older folks here, and I just think that's the opportunity. To me, that just shows there's an interest.
beginning.
Well, you know, and a lot of it's timing, and I think this is the right time, very smart, and because this is a great turnout.
Well, and I'll say, because I've been here 30 years, and I've been in the area all my life, and there was a time when there were restaurants in Cumberland City. There were a time when there were other businesses. Maybe there were more people, maybe there were more kids. When we came, there was a restaurant, and as soon as TVA would close up their shut down for the month or whatever, then the restaurant had to close. Because the local folks didn't go there to eat. It was the TVA folk. There just weren't enough to maintain that. So when we're talking some of these weaknesses, I mean, I get it. Well, and it's just like Alexis is saying about the bathrooms, if you don't have the folks that can do the upkeep and stuff, then, you know.
Well, there's a lot of opportunities here. Parks and Recreation is just part of quality of life. And you have a safe city. You have an affordable city, you know, a good place to raise kids. People look at these types of things, you know, not everybody can afford the Brentwoods and the wherevers, you know. Or do they want to be in that type of atmosphere? So I think when you bring parks in and wholesome activities and things, senior activities as we talked about, there's lots of opportunities to make this a wonderful community to come to. Other opportunities?
There's a lot of, Cumberland City does have a lot of history. There is a lot of history. Like the old gym, that's historic.
Okay.
A lot of the buildings downtown are historic.
Historic.
The old church up the hill, that's historic. There's a lot of history.
Gerald used to be on the state historic committee and, or commission, and there's opportunities for dollars there. In fact, we just got a real small grant in Moscow, our downtown grant. Our downtown, they call it the downtown square. It's only one side because the railroad's here, but I guess you can't say it's the downtown line, it's the downtown square. But anyway, there's grants out there that aren't that hard to get.
As far as the historical thing, I would love to see us have a way to preserve the history of this area.
Okay.
Currently, there are lots of people that are getting older that have historical documents, photos.
This is it.
With nowhere to keep them. They're in people's homes, they're scattered everywhere.
I can't remember which year he graduated, but the last time I was here, your mayor was named Whitey. What was the last name? Vaughn. And I think he showed me, was he?
Yeah, he would have been in.
1960 what? Or was he before that? Anyway, he showed me his picture somewhere back there. I was looking for it a while ago. I hadn't found it yet.
My dad's picture is in 1956.
1956? That's the year I was born. So. Okay, other opportunities.
But we actually started a historical meeting to try to preserve
Okay.
city history. And it was dead in the water because we had nowhere to store the items.
And that's a problem in a lot of cities because it's expensive to make a historic area that has, that can store archives. One of the regular days I'm sure we'll have is a Park and Recreation Commission. Could also be a subset of that, a Historic Commission. Not uncommon for those two to be linked.
Even if it was a section of another part of the project.
Right.
A part of the community building.
Yeah, yeah, you make it have that. All right, and we, TJ gets grants, we've gotten for quite a few cities, we've had one today, museums.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've even worked at a small town museum before. I used to live in Hardin County.
Harding,
Hardin County, down in
Yeah,
Savannah, Tennessee.
Savannah,
Yeah, and I worked at the museum there, and I was part of the tourism bureau there.
okay.
There's a lot of stuff in that little town that, I'm sure we could find stuff like that here.
So we actually did a master plan in is it Sotillo or?
Sotillo, yeah,
Yeah,
super
yeah.
close.
Yeah, and very small.
Oh, super small.
It wasn't even a square mile. In fact,
No.
Gerald's a good golfer. He could easily hit a golf ball from one boundary to the other.
I used to have to drive through Sotillo to go to where I actually lived.
Okay, other opportunities?
The river.
Yes, the river.
Cause there's good fishing. There always has.
You know, that could be it's smooth enough to do paddling on, correct? Most of the time, you could do, one thing that's really interesting, you guys have over 40 boat ramps in your county. Yeah. Now, that's a huge opportunity. They may not all be right here, but someone who's a fisherman and everything, and, there's parts you can't get to.
The same thing, if somehow you could actually take that at Grass's Creek, which is a boat ramp and parking and everything. So
Right.
It's got a little bit of a old picnic area there that everybody used to picnic, kind of a park scene as well too. But if you could restructure that with the usage of the river and everything, it seems like that'd be an
Right.
opportunity for this.
And
this area as well too.
we have grants for those time.
Lights, no lights down there, the
Yeah.
kids' lights, a little better.
And we also have Blue Way
Makes sense.
grants. And a Blue Way is like a trails, but you're in a canoe or kayak or whatever instead. So you go on the trail in your kayak and you have mile markers and things. Yeah. Other opportunities. We're losing people, aren't we? Pastor, I did a sermon longer than 25 minutes. That's the trouble, right?
Strength around here, we're in bed by 8 o'clock.
Okay.
18 minutes, we gotta hurry,
All right.
It gets quiet.
Another opportunity.
One more opportunity we have is, we have that highway out there, and it goes through, we've got people from Clarksville, Pivar, like Pivar people living out this way, you've got there, they all go through there, go through on that highway.
Signage.
Signage.
How would you use it as an opportunity for business or?
Economically.
You would have to have the right revenue of type, some kind of economically benefit.
Y'all have any civil war battles around
Get
here?
the video horse story in, right?
Not right in.
There is a site right on 149, right across from almost using kind of like the jail area right there. Like between where, next to that the building that we were talking earlier, on the other side of that there's something, but I think that's on the Houston County side.
Yeah, we have the historic marker over by Busy Beach for the General so-and-so's raid where they sunk some Union boats there.
I was told there was an Indian village on the hill of the river.
And then you do it. So we did, Mark did a historical grant for Waverly of Dover. Mark,
What's that?
you did a historical grant.
Humphreys County Museum.
Humphreys County.
Civil
And
War.
for Cannon and some signs and stuff like that. I just wondered if
So one of the parts of the master plan, we got all these things, and then we'll try to figure out what the community garden, some of the low-hanging fruit things.
Y'all
you can
win
do
votes,
really quick.
we can get the last one and we'll call it a night.
How did it work?
Community rec center 11, pickleball courts 9, old gym 8. Got some the river 7, so there's wonderful opportunities here. A lot of mixture. Y'all have some really good input and some great ideas on some of that. We're going to finish up with threats. Before I forget, when we go on to threats, We'll be back here next Monday night on the 18th. We'll do the same exact thing. You're more than welcome to be here, but tell your people at church, tell your people at the coffee shop or at Dollar General, anybody you run into, come on up. You're welcome to be back. You don't have to be here because we're going to go through some of the same things, but you're more than welcome to be here. But tell others so we can have a good group next week and get some really good ideas going and generated, and then we'll come back and meet with our focus group eventually.
Right, and every comment gets in the plan. If there's one vote, it gets in the plan. So,
Okay, threats. Threats are some of those things that are external. Maybe, I mean, they could be internal as well, because I'm going to throw out one that's always a threat. Money. Right? Money is always a threat. I just go ahead and throw it out there. Revenue, money, tax dollars, those type of things. You know, nobody wants to see taxes go up. We're fighting that in Humphreys County. We're fighting that here. We're fighting that there. You know, we don't want to see our property taxes go up. But sometimes, I'm not saying I'm always in favor of it, but if it's for the right purposes, an extra half-cent or something on my home, I would be willing to do, especially if it means better roads or better park and recreation opportunities. And I've shared that with our city council members and mayor and city council members in New Johnson. I go almost every month to my city council meetings, and I've shared that on several occasions with them. Is, you know, I'm not always in favor of more property taxes, obviously, but if it goes for the right reasons, and I can ensure that it's going to be used in the right way, then I'm okay with that. So, anyway, what else? What other threats are out there?
The really heavy TVA and traffic.
Heavy traffic,
Yeah, when they let out at
when all the
yeah.
TVA or factories let out,
Yeah.
heavy traffic is a threat, yeah. And
It'll be fine, and then,
I'm sorry?
yeah,
Also, it's hard on the roads.
yeah.
Hard on the roads, yep.
It'll be fine, and then all of a sudden, you can't leave your house at 5.
Yeah, you don't want to get out.
No.
You know you don't get out, okay. Good deal. What are some other threats?
Vandalism.
Vandalism, yes, you're exactly right. Do you experience that much now in Cumberland City? Any tagging, like graffiti or?
It's
No.
nice
It's
and
not so
nothing
much.
gets torn up. You know what I mean, like Buckethead, it may
Oh.
probably get torn up. The whole school turned into just being vandalized regularly.
I do see windows broken out and things like that, so. What other threats?
People moving out of the area.
Yeah, exactly. Opportunity is people could be moving in, but we do people moving out. They didn't meet their needs and they don't have the quality of life. They don't have stuff for their kids to do. Either they won't be here or they won't stay. Yeah.
Especially with that school.
Very transient. Schools.
School is a big thing.
Absolutely, school, people moving out, no school. That's a threat, no school is a threat. Yeah. What other threats?
Well, because we're a rural place, I mean, things like drugs are a problem.
Absolutely. Drugs. Alcohol abuse, well, maybe, I don't know if that's a big thing here or not, but drugs can certainly affect almost every community.
Loss of history.
I'm sorry?
A loss of
Loss
our
of history.
loss of history.
Loss of history. So, yeah. How do we preserve that? That's one thing we'll definitely look at within the plan.
We do have some young people here tonight, but we do have an aging community.
Aging community.
And people come here to retire, so they don't necessarily, when they're doing that, they're not necessarily going somewhere to get engaged in community work. They're
Right.
going to retire.
Yeah.
So I think an aging community does make a difference.
Okay. Aging community. Good one. Any other threats?
The aging community could be an opportunity for the senior.
It could, absolutely. A community center, recreation center, senior center type area, absolutely. And the threats.
I don't know if it's a threat, but you know, there was a threat at some point that TVA was gonna do some shutting down and they, you know, changed and restructured a lot of stuff, so I don't know if as many people got laid off or let go that they had planned to, but it is a threat to the community.
Absolutely, sure. Just the economics of that happening, or potential of that happening, could be, is a threat. I threw out
There is
there.
a, I don't know if it's a threat and it's one of our strengths, but it's also a weakness. We're bound in this little area. I mean, we can talk about growth and all that, but unless it expands further out into the county, the town of Cumberland City is,
You're
we're hemmed
landlocked.
in.
You're kind of landlocked.
We are landlocked.
And it's not as easy to annex as it was in the past.
Even 5 or 10 years ago, it was
Yeah.
fairly easy annex, and now it's really difficult, so, or more difficult, I should say. All right. Any others? I'll throw out one, and y'all can say, no, that's not a threat, or it is, but sometimes we have seen a change in leadership, so that means mayor, aldermen, city leaders that may change because some are very progressive and they want to see things happen and they're working to get those things done. To some that may be a little bit more withdrawn in some of those areas, so change in leadership sometimes is a threat. You decide if it is or not for this community, it may not be, but I'll want to throw it out there.
Well, let's just say fear.
Could be an opportunity. Absolutely. Could be an opportunity.
Do
Let's
you
get rid of
guys
those
have-
people that are not working.
Where I am, we have a hard time getting people to run for office. And then we have one alderman that ran, and she goes, I just don't have time. So when we're trying to get a quorum, we know one's not going to show up to begin with. So do you have a hard time getting people to run for office or anything?
Well, I mean, if we didn't want to go to the political sphere of that, then we just classify it as fear.
Yeah,
Everybody's afraid of change.
absolutely.
And you
For a
got
change.
Karen and you got Alexis that have been here all their life, and now you got some younger folks that, hey, look, can't we do this and this?
That's right.
And there's always I don't want to say pushback in that, because the other end of that is you got apathy, and you got folks that just don't give a crap.
They don't care. They really don't. As long as I'm sitting on my little half acre in my house and I'm okay and don't bother me.
Sure. That's me most
Yeah,
of
but-
the time.
Go on, go there.
Mark and I had a conversation, they come in, well, everything's fine, it's all on the community, as long as you leave me alone. Think about it. You start to raise my property taxes, I'm gonna raise Cain.
Sure.
If my house goes up, and I've gotta pay more property taxes, I'm gonna raise Cain. And so, you're right, you know, everything depends on my health and where we're at, just like you.
Any other threats?
I think one of the biggest threats here is like people, I don't want to say lack of community involvement, they just feel like, why? Because they feel like they're not going to be heard, listened to.
Apathy?
Yeah.
Apathy, okay. And that's not uncommon, that's
I
a lot.
like that though, not being heard. That is right, because I don't know, I've been to 3 or 4 year city council meetings, and you have a number of people that do show up. And I use my hometown, New Johnsonville. It's a little bit more. We have 1,000 people in our town, but we have a lot of people that show up at our city council meetings. And so that's encouraging. At least they may not all ask questions, they may not, but they're there. And they're taking in what's being done by the city leaders and who they voted for. So that's a good one. One last one. Anybody else? All right, let's put them up and I'll get
Well, I
some.
do have one more, and
Good.
what makes it hard is, it's hard to, like, communicate with people, it's hard to get the word out, because
Alexis and I were talking about that just a couple of weeks ago, because I was like, okay, we got a community survey. How do we get it out? You know, do you have a website? Do you have Facebook? How do we get that out to as many people as we can? We mentioned that maybe a minute ago too. But yeah, how do you get the word out? How do you do that?
between between Facebook, just talking to people, knocking on doors,
Yeah.
calling, texting, that's how, at least how I get the word out about anything.
Probably have to rely on y'all to help us with the survey, get that.